Hey, Big V here, Verl Workman, and we are talking teams. Today we're going to talk about how to build a successful real estate team. You know, a lot of people try and figure out when's the right time to start a team or how do I build a team. And before the end of this video, I'm going to give you 4 critical things or 4 critical mistakes that every team leader makes when they start hiring a team. And at the very end, I'm going to share with you one of the most important things we use in bringing people onto your team. So why do even people do teams? Why do people start teams or think about teams? Here's what I've discovered. I've discovered in coaching literally thousands of teams that when you're good at something, it creates more opportunities. And so think about it. The better you are, the more opportunities it creates. As an individual agent, what happens is you have to actually decide whether to say no to the new business coming in or no to the other things that actually matter more in your business and in your life. For example, your family or your faith or your friends or your fun or your fitness. Well, fitness or food, I use those interchangeably. You have to say no to one of those things. And I don't think you should have to. I think that if you love your family, faith, friends, fun, fitness, and food, and you love your business, why do you have to choose? What happens when we start thinking about a team is a team to me means nothing more than leverage. So what does it mean to create leverage in your business, in your life? Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day and I was trying to decide how many businesses are you aware of or how many companies can you think of that are wildly successful that don't operate as a team? Like really? I can't think of hardly any. Like the grocery store operates as a team, my dentist office operates as a team, orthopedic surgeon operates as a team, but yet in real estate we have this funky thing goes on in our head that we have this false belief that nobody can do anything as good as us. And so we do all of the prospecting, do all of the showing of properties. When it goes under contract, we do all of the paperwork. And then in the end, we end up spending dozens of hours doing things that don't actually generate any revenue. So what I want to talk about today is if you're going to build a successful team, what does it look like? How many of you really wish you could make $1 million a year in real estate? Like seriously, is that out of your realm of possibility? When I think about building a 7-figure team, I think about, I guess most people don't believe they're worth it, or they don't believe they have enough value, or someone's told them that they could never do it. And so they operate based on what they believe is possible. So let me just share with you a couple of things that will help you think differently about building a team. First of all, let's talk about money. You know, we don't do real estate because we want to make money, but money is a part of living well. So we need it so that we can live well. So our kids can play competitive sports, or we can travel the world with our significant others, whatever that thing that drives you to want to earn more. So let's talk about just simple things. Let me just share with you some round numbers of how we can get to 7 figures. Are you ready for that? Let's do it. So let's start with when you sell a home. Here's some critical things you must know. The first thing is this: one listing, and you'll hear me say this over and over and over again, equals 1.5 buyer's side transactions. So every time you get a listing, you should close 1.5 buy-side transactions. So if you list 10 properties, you should close 15 transactions. That'll equal 25 deals. When you get a listing, one listing equals 6 to 8 leads per month. When we think about building a team, the next thing we think about is every 25 leads we generate, we add 1 buyer's agent. Now, when we hire buyer's agents, and I'll talk about this in upcoming videos, we don't hire them and tell them we're going to give them leads. We just use this as a formula to know when it's time to get another one. You see, if you have 25 leads coming in a month and you have only 1 buyer's agent, if they have 25 this month, they have 50 next month, then 75, then 100, how do you follow up effectively with 100 leads? So every 25 leads, we add another buyer's agent. Now, when you do this, let's just use a round number of commission. Let's just say the average commission is $10,000. Now, depending on where you sell or what you charge for commission, that number could go up or down, doesn't matter to me. So 25 at $10,000 is $250,000. Now, that's a single agent. Now, is it unrealistic to do 25 transactions? I would tell you that to be on one of our Workman coach teams, that unless you're doing 24 transactions, you're not even going to qualify to be on the team. And so we're going to get to $1 million. Here's how we do it. What if we decided that we were going to only focus on listings, and that your job was to keep 10 active listings in your business all the time? So what does that look like? 10 active listings. So with 10 active listings all the time, that means you're going to sell somewhere between 60 and 75 listings a year. If the number is 60, that means you're going to do 90 buy-side transactions. That's 150 closed transactions. Anybody want to do the math on that? Take 150 times your $10,000, it's 1.5 million. Now, doing 150 transactions, that's a little bit daunting or intimidating or thinking like I could never do that. What if you don't have to work with a single buyer? What if the only thing you had to do is get up every morning and be intensely obsessed, like freaking obsessed with the activities that generate listing appointments? And all you did is focus on these 60 listing appointments. There's only 5 a month. It's barely 1 a week. Like, what are you going to do the rest of the week? If all you did is get up and focused on those listings. So you get up and you focus on your listings. So your 1 appointment a week will generate your 60 listings. It's a really cool function. Let's just double that because that's too small and go to 2. So we go to 2 listings, now you're here. How do we get these buyers done? In order to do 90, I would want to hire 3 buyer's agents. In the next session, the next video, I'm going to talk about how to compensate those buyer's agents so you can go from $1 million gross to $1 million net. But right now, this is how you build your $1 million team. I've helped agents from making $100,000 go to 250, and from 250 to 500, and from 500 to $1 million. One of my favorite clients, I met at a little event in Texas that came up to me at the end of the event, and she said to me, Verl, I really want you to be my coach. And I said, I'm not taking on any clients. She says, no, I don't think you're understanding me. You're going to be my coach. And I said, all right, tell me why. And she says, because I see all these people making more money than I do, and I feel like I'm just as good as them. And I said, yeah, I'm not buying it. Why do you want me to be your coach? And she said to me, Verl, it's because as a single mom with 2 boys, I want to be present in the lives of my kids. And I feel like I'm always there, but I'm always on my phone. I'm not really present. And I know you can help me with that. And I said, I can buy that. Let me help you. It was fun to watch Christy. She grew from $250,000 in gross closed income that year to $575,000 the next year, to $1.1 million the next year, to $2.1 million the next year. And now she's built a business that generates between $3 and $4 million of commission every single year. What's cool about Christy is she no longer works with buyers. She no longer works with sellers. She invests in real estate with her team members, and she's created a life where she never has to rely on a man again to take care of her boys. Now, whatever your why is or whatever drives you in building your team, it doesn't matter to me. Just find it. And then once you find it, then we'll step by step help you with a path to grow your team. So whether it's a 7-figure team or a high 5-figure team or a 6-figure team, you get to choose. I'll just give you the roadmap and I'll give you the tools. I'm going to give you training and I'm going to give you the trade secrets that you need to know from the inside on how we really build these successful teams. Once you decide you're going to hire a buyer's agent, and in one of our upcoming videos, we're going to talk about specifically how to find and hire the right talent. I'm going to give you the compensation program that does that. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they start their team is this. And everybody should write this down, is they do what we call opportunity hires. An opportunity hire is when, hey, I need someone because I'm going crazy busy. I think I'm going to hire someone that needs a job. Oftentimes they're family members or friends that don't have the skills and they're not qualified, so we do an opportunity hire. The second big mistake is because we're so busy and because we don't believe we have the money to pay somebody to be on the team, is we overcompensate them on a variable base program. So I'll hire an assistant and then I'll give her a % of my commission. And then what happens is when you start getting really busy, the compensation model gets out of balance. And now you can't afford to delegate the business. The third thing is we don't clearly define the roles and responsibilities of the people we're hiring. Clearly defining roles and responsibilities is one of the biggest mistakes people make. And then the last thing is we don't intentionally create the culture of productivity. In one of my favorite videos coming up, we're going to talk about how to intentionally create that culture of productivity. Every business, every family, every life has a culture that's either accidentally created or it's intentionally created. And I want you to intentionally create a culture of productivity. And that's the very reason we've created the 10 things to be on my team, which is a download that I'm going to give you just because you watch this video today. So click on the link below and you'll be able to download the 10 things to be on my team, which sets the stage during the hiring process of how to build a culture of productivity. So wherever you are in your business, if you're good at it, you're attracting more opportunities, you want greater balance, it's time to build your A team. And we're going to take you through that process step by step.